Are you truly building a life that you want, or are you just trying to escape the one that you don't? Just think about, how do you spend your evenings? Do you spend them actually numbing yourself with alcohol, with Netflix, with junk food? Or do you actually spend them doing something productive, doing something different, doing something to push you to a life that you want? Welcome to Master Your Mindset, Master Your Life. I'm Sanj, and today we're diving into a topic that hits home for so many of us. If you get something from this episode, please leave me a rating or a review. I would really appreciate it. I would love to read your comments. So today's topic is about, are you actually building the life you want, or are you escaping the one that you don't? And it's a tough question, right? But here's the thing. So many of us spend so much time and energy trying to distract ourselves from a reality that we're not happy with, instead of doing what we should be doing, and that's taking action to create the life that we truly want. How many times have you noticed yourself doing that? Here's a quote from Jim Rohn, and it says, "If you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much." I love this quote because it actually reminds us, and it actually gives me personally that kick up the backside to actually start doing what I want and building a life that I want, I desire, one I'm excited for. And this, if you're starting to actually wake up and starting to think differently, this episode is for you. If you've ever felt like you're stuck in the monotony of daily life and you're just surviving rather than thriving, today I'm going to be talking about why escaping your current reality doesn't solve the problem, and why you need to actually start focusing on creating a life that excites you. And I'll give you 5 actionable ways to start doing just that. So let's start off with why we're happier to escape reality and what it costs us. So let's be honest for a second. Life can be overwhelming. It can be monotonous, or sometimes it can be just frustrating at times. And the problem is, instead of addressing the root of the problem, we then often look for ways to escape reality. Why is that? Because it's easier. How many times have you noticed that after a stressful day, you just want to escape? You say, oh, you know what? I just need to do something just to forget about what happened today. And here are 3 of the biggest ways in which I've noticed people escape their reality. Number 1 is mindless entertainment. Our phones are constantly on. They're constantly around us. They're constantly glued to our hands almost. So we scroll endlessly on social media. We'll do things like we'll binge watch Netflix or play video games. Why? Because it's an easy way to distract ourselves. But the problem is that almost half your waking hours are spent in front of a screen. And study shows that the average person spends around 7 hours a day in front of screens. And so can you imagine that 7 hours of your day is just spent in front of a little screen doing different things, whether it's your work, whether it's actually your mobile, or whether it's a TV. And while it feels good in the moment, it actually, apart from work, it often leaves you feeling unproductive and disconnected. The next thing is, you indulge in short-term pleasures. For some people, it's food. For others, it's shopping. For others, it's alcohol, or just any other quick dopamine hit. But the truth is these things are only going to mask the problem temporarily. And actually, over 50% of people who rely on short-term pleasures to cope actually report feeling more stressed and just unsatisfied in the long run, because that quick dopamine hit, you then want another one and another one and another one. And you won't get the same amount of dopamine from that, say, from that first bite of food as you will from the 20th bite of food. So then you start wanting to do wilder things. So if, say, for example, you're shopping, spending the £10 the first day will give you a level 1 dopamine hit or level 2 dopamine hit. Then spending spending £10 the next day will not give you a level 2 dopamine hit, it'll give you a level 1 dopamine hit. So you need to spend £20 the next day to get exactly the same dopamine hit. The third thing is avoidance behavior. So this is when you avoid the things that actually truly matter, like fixing a relationship, advancing in your career, taking care of your health, because it just feels like too much hard work, or it just feels overwhelming. And instead, what you do is you bury yourself in busy work or distractions. So say, for example, your relationship isn't great, so you avoid it by working harder at work, taking longer hours. Your health isn't great, so then you end up doing things like, again, just distracting yourself with work or relationships or other things. And actually, escaping reality may give you relief for a moment, but it doesn't actually solve the underlying issue. Actually, what it does in the long term is it actually ends up leading to feelings of regret, wasted time, and eventually deeper dissatisfaction. So you, in that moment, may be enjoying it, but you, 12 hours later, will be regretting the fact you did it. But this is why you need to actually, rather than escape life, why you need to actually build a life that excites you, one that actually gets you up every day feeling excited, enthusiastic, and energized. The shift you need to make is, instead of escaping a life we don't love, you need to start living one that we do. You need to start building it. Why? Because happiness isn't about running away from what you don't want. It's about creating a life full of things that you do want. Think about it. What if you woke up every morning excited about your day? What if your work, your relationships, your habits, your just life all aligned with your values and it was your dream life? You wouldn't feel the need to escape because you'd be too busy living. You'd be too busy enjoying every minute of the day. The life that you want is built by the actions you take every single day, not by avoiding the ones that scare you. Fear of taking the right actions because you're worried what someone may think, that it may be difficult, or fear that you may actually not deserve it or be good enough. That fear is what's stopping you. So it's easier for you to avoid it. And by building the life that you want, when you start creating it, you feel more fulfilled. A life that actually aligns with your passions, with your values, with your goals. Everything changes for you. You're more fulfilled because every day feels meaningful because you're living with a purpose. You'll have stronger relationships because when you're happy and you're confident in your own life, it will spill out into how you interact with everyone, from your friends to your families to your colleagues. How many times have you noticed that you go up to some people, they're just full of energy. You want to hang around with them more. You want to actually shake their hand. You want to be with them. They feel like a better person to know. And then you compare them to someone who's just feels like down in the dumps, a bit grey, a bit like disheartened. You're there like, yeah, okay, it was nice talking to them for a while, but it wouldn't be a long-term friendship. So when you actually show up energized, enthusiastic and excited, your energy levels will actually will spill over into how you interact with everyone, how you live your life, how you are. And you'll build momentum because progress creates momentum. As I said in the last episode, when you're choosing comfort over progress, when you start to choose progress over comfort, you start to build momentum. You start to build momentum, and that builds motivation, because when you see the results, you're going to want to keep going. So when you set and work towards meaningful goals, you're going to be happier and more productive than if you just keep escaping your life. So if you actually want to get up and start building a life that you want, get clear on what you want. You can't build a life that you love if you don't know what it looks like. Take time to reflect on your values. Take time to reflect on your passions, your goals. What do you want your life to look like? What do you want to look like? What does the future you do? Habits? What relationships do they have? What is their overall demeanor? Ask yourself, what does my ideal day look like? Get really clear on what you want. The next thing is stop comparing yourself to others. Comparison is a thief of joy. So focus on your own race. Not what society says, not what social media is looking like. Yeah, that's all stuff on saying what your life should look like. That isn't what it does look like. That isn't what you want it to look like, maybe. When you quit social media for a week, you'll actually improve your happiness by about 50%, and you'll actually reduce your feelings of envy as well. So if you can, think about, who do I need to unfollow? Who's actually making me feel bad about my life? You can always unfollow people. You can always just block them. Block them. You can just unfollow their posts, whatever it is. If they're making you feel bad about your life, why would you want to keep that going? The third thing is, start small but consistent. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. It isn't a big change. My whole ethos on changing your life and mastering your mindset to master your life is not making big changes. Make small, manageable changes. Whether it's dedicating 30 minutes a day to doing some meditation, or to actually building a project, or creating a hobby, something that you love, improving your health, whatever it is. Spend 30 minutes a day doing on that. Schedule it in, because if something that isn't scheduled doesn't happen. Yeah, so start off scheduling small but consistent habits. Set a goal for this week and stick to it. The fourth thing is, surround yourself with supportive people. The people around you make so much difference. Your environment matters. So spend time with people who inspire you, those who encourage you, those who push you to be better. Those people around you are going to increase your chances of achieving your goals. And I always say this, but celebrate your progress. It's so easy just to, oh yeah, I did this. It's great. But if you start to celebrate it, like, give yourself that pat on the back, give yourself the fist bump, the high five, look at yourself in the mirror, and the Mel Robbins high five habit, high five yourself in the mirror. Yeah, building the life that you want is going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. Don't wait until the end goal, until you're living that life. Because if you're waiting till the end goal, you may become disheartened along the way. So celebrate every step forward. Progress, no matter how big, no matter how small, is still progress. Yeah, maybe write one thing that you did well every single day. One step you took down towards your goals. Yeah, make sure that you notice the progress you make. So, although escaping reality may feel easier in the moment, it won't ever lead you to lasting happiness. And the only way for you to create that fulfilling life is to build it step by step. The only way for you to actually have an exciting, an energized, and enthusiastic life is to build it yourself. So what are you going to do today to start building a life that you want? Are you just going to start a simple thing as writing down your goals, having an honest conversation, committing to a new habit? Just take that first step. Progress does not have to be perfect. It just has to be consistent. Steve Jobs said, the only way to do great work is to love what you do. So if you want a great life, you've got to love it. Thank you so much for joining me today. And if this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who may need a little inspiration to start building a life that they're truly excited about. So until next time, keep challenging yourself, keep pushing yourself. And remember, you have the power to create a life that you love. Shift your mindset to start taking action, to constantly make progress. You master your mindset, you'll master your life.